Welcome, Damien Mu and everyone to this session. Damien is the Managing Director and CEO of AIA, and has, very generously and very amazingly supported Australians for Mental Health this year and over the coming years towards advocating around mental health reform. So today it's absolute pleasure to welcome you, Damien, and to have a bit of a yarn about your interest in mental health and where you see the role of AIA playing in the space. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. And I'm really proud and pleased that we're able to be partnering with you and see what good work we can do to make a difference together. So great to be here with you.
Awesome, mate. So with all the interviews that I've been doing, it's always really great to get a personal understanding of, what's your own experience in mental health and your friends and family. How have you seen that in your life, both mental health and mental illness, as sort of affecting your interest and passion in this area?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. And look, I mean, for me personally, mental health is a very important one on a number of different levels. Number one, firstly, talking from a work perspective, running a life and health insurance company, and we insure over 3 million Australians. When we see the number of claims that are coming through for mental health and the growth year on year, that you can't avoid or deny the significant impact this is having on our society and individuals and their families. We've seen 30% growth year on year in the number of claims that are associated with mental health, and we're one of the largest life insurers in the country, so we know it's very real, and the impact that's having on Australians from having healthier, longer, better lives. And then personally, one, as an individual, I really wanted to make sure that I was being open and genuine with people about the fact that, they see me as a very energetic, passionate individual, but what they didn't see was the moments on a Friday in the Sydney airport where I just want to curl up in the corner and, just found it hard to pick myself up to get on the plane because I was just exhausted and just, was dealing with so many things, trying to be what people perceive to be that Superman, superhero. And really what I wanted to really share with people was that isn't the case all the time, and you don't have to be a superhero to be a CEO, or there's moments when I have to find techniques and tools to really help me get through the day. So while you're up here and going at this 24/7, it means there's a lot further to go down. And so I'd have tools like I'd talk about my little pity party, where I'd allow myself to acknowledge that I wasn't feeling great and pull out my imaginary cupcake in the airport and pull it out. The moments where I'd going on a date with myself, and that was really just about having a reflection period to just acknowledge all the things that were going on that were impacting my ability to be at full energy, to be feeling positive about myself, feeling good about myself, and being able to go home and be a present dad, and which often wasn't the case, because I'd be trying to text, cook, clean, and play cars with Kai, or pretend I listen to Bailey. So it just been really authentic about that. Then of course I've had some family members, one who through mental health unfortunately committed suicide as well. So you experience these things firsthand and you can see the impact. But just, as I said, from a work perspective too, Chris, just seeing the fact that, the data that we have, we've conducted the largest global study into mental health, and it's the leading cause of disability in the world today. And while we're learning more, it's now how do we do more? And from my perspective, talking to you, as we've discussed, it's about absolutely making sure people have access to the best treatment and support and help, but also how do we start to help with preventative? And we know there are things that we can be doing to try and prevent some of those mental health issues and incidences from happening, by looking at how we can manage our mental health like we do our physical health.
And thank you for sharing that. And I mean, as someone that's had like such a stellar career, professionally, and it's really nice to see and hear like that there are sort of tough moments that you've gone through And I can, picture you in that airport, like, just exhausted. Do you notice, in your life, like, are there kind of seasons when you have felt really great and seasons when you haven't? Or what's the kind of temporal landscape of, your own mental landscape? Yeah, mental health.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I look at, Chris, is, I mean, there are so many things that impact our mental health. Environmental factors everywhere, right? So yeah, the sun comes out, you feel great, but you can feel that energy and that warmth coming through. And it's a time when I get a lot of energy from getting out there. But actually, it's more about rather than the seasonality, it's more about how I'm looking after myself. So, I go in 24/7 and saying I used to survive on 3 to 4 hours sleep a day, and that was great. It wasn't, right? So, for me, it actually is when I'm not doing the little things to do the self-care. I love, you get so much energy from caring for others, right? That's the number one thing, and it's awesome, right? There's no better thing than when you see you've been able to make a small positive impact on someone's life, whether it's just a 30-second ride in the lift where you've actually just connected to say, hi, how are you? How are you going? And what's going on with you? It doesn't have to be the big things all the time. To then, recognizing that when I'm not doing the things like, being kind to myself to maybe get an extra hour or two sleep, so get that 5 hours, 6 hours sleep, not taking those little micro recoveries to go for a walk around the office, outside the office, doing some mindfulness breathing, keeping my exercise routine up. But the mindfulness stuff is really important. And what I find is when I don't do those things, I start to slowly go down. And what I mean by that is from an energetic perspective, from a stress perspective, and then you don't manifest in the way you want to, and that's not having the impact. So you really got to step back and reprogram your thinking, because I'm thinking I want to have, as a leader, that with that comes the privilege and responsibility of being a leader of an organization. How do I honor that? And I used to think honoring that was working harder and harder and harder, but actually I had to reprogram my mind to think about, if I wanted to be a better leader and have better impact, I actually needed to also do a little bit of self-care, because then I could actually bring better energy, better calmness, better thoughts to the table that would actually impact people in a far positive manner. And same at home with my kids. Just taking a few deep breaths before entering, getting ready to go through to the next stage, put the phone away for a little while. And you find that all those sayings are so true, right? Quality, not quantity. Like if I spend 5 minutes of quality time with Kai, he gets bored of me. And it's like, don't leave me, So it is those little things. And so I find, Chris, for me, that it's actually the way I'm living my life that can determine how I'm feeling, and rather than specific periods of times of the year.
I'm curious, Damien. In your life, where did your ambition come from, or where did that drive come from? That has a two-edged sword to it, where you've had to learn these techniques. Was it a family thing? Where did that come from?
Yeah, Chris, I've sort of shared this a few times, and I'm very happy to share again. I mean, I was born and blessed in Aussie, but I obviously a first generation Australian migrant, Australian family, and my grandmother was my hero, and she brought us over here from Sri Lanka to give us a better life. And we had my mum, my aunt, my grandma, we all just lived in the same house, and everyone just worked hard towards a common purpose and dream. And so I think right from the start, that hard work ethic was instilled in myself about that. But most importantly, my best lesson I didn't even realize was about the importance of purpose. And she would get up and go to work in a factory at 4:30 in the morning and get a train. And it's not easy when you come to a new country and start to do those things. It was dark when she'd get in that train. It's probably pretty scary, but she wasn't scared. Off she'd go, work hard, and it was all about the commitment to that purpose and dream that she set for us. And my mum, my dad, everyone would just be working, and we'd just be handed around, and then of course, I'd go along and help my parents at a very early age as well, and doing a cleaning job or whatever. So that hard work ethic always sort of was instilled in me, and then the sense of purpose. And I didn't actually say I wanted to be a CEO. I wanted to be a footballer, actually, AFL footballer. That didn't work out. But all I did was really apply the same thing right throughout my career. So people always tell me, how did you get to it and what was it? And I said, all I wanted to do was be the best at what I was doing and help the team. And by doing that, it's amazing how the doors just opened up. And, I always wanted to aspire to bring that hard work, support the team, and achieve great things together. And that's just the basic lesson I learned as a kid. And I've just brought that through. So there's no real magic formula, but I love the ability to create an inspiring vision. We've got a dream here nowadays, that's evolved from our purpose of making a difference to help champion Australia to be the healthiest and best protected nation in the world. The great Australian dream is to own your own home in this blessed country of ours. And I think that's a great dream. But actually, why do you want to have a home in Australia? Because we're blessed in this country. So really, it's about how can we help people have healthier, longer, better lives so they can enjoy the things they love, that barbecue, the wonderful environment we have, being amongst friends and family. So really, while we think about the material possessions of the home, which is really important, right? And that's a really important dream. What we really want to do is make sure people are living their best life by having their physical and mental well-being in a state that they can enjoy it. So, that dream is a legacy that we want to, we want to champion, but then and working with great people like yourself and the Alliance around Australians for Mental Health is to really get out there and have great impact and know that that'll be a legacy that hopefully endures well beyond our time.
And it's sort of an interesting thing to reflect on, given your background and where you've come from, and it sort of ties into life insurance as really the generation before you was around survival and establishing and working hard just to give you the opportunities to take it where you've gone. And you've kind of gone into an industry that is about, safety and security. And you're at the same time as personally going through a journey around thriving, turning this organization into something that is, beyond that safety and is about living a great life, a really, healthy, happy life. And, it's amazing to see both that journey happen, that arc in your life, but also in your career and with a huge organization to do it, what leverage that is.
Yeah, I feel really, really blessed. And the AA group, Australia and our board and the whole team here, we are absolutely committed to that purpose of making a difference in people's lives and that dream that we talked about. And we, the great thing is we have shared value at the core of what we're doing. So what that means is we've identified that there is a phenomenal, not just a responsibility, but phenomenal opportunity to direct the efforts of our organisation and what we do every day to helping to solve real societal issues, right? And so when you look at some of the biggest issues we're facing in society around the growth of issues in regards to health, the costs of health, the impacts that's having on Australians and their families, but also the economy and so on. If we can, leverage our privileged position to be able to build propositions and programs and offer, support and products that can help people to make small changes in their life to lead healthier, longer, better lives, then that has a phenomenal impact right through for them and their families, or for society, and obviously for AA, we win on that as well. So it's a win-win-win, but we try to put that back into it. And what we're really trying to do here now is build out that health and wellbeing ecosystem of predict, prevent, diagnose, treat, recover, thrive. And that's about being engaged in our customers' lives daily, not just sort of at a claim stage. So we have a lot of programs which are geared at supporting Australians every day, and they're engaged.
And so it sort of brings me into your. Is it a flagship program, Vitality? How would you describe it within AIA?
Oh, look, AIA Vitality was one of the starting points back in 2000, and I think it was 14, 15 when we brought Vitality to market here. And Vitality was the world-leading health and wellbeing program. It's grounded in science and behavioural economics, and it was really fantastic to be able to bring that to Australia, leveraging the sort of the data and the academic science behind it over the last 25 years. And what it really does is just basically does three things. It helps people with education to know their health. It then recognises the next step is, once we know more about it, how do we help people remove barriers and improve their health? And then really the fundamental part of the behavioural economics model then is, even if we start something, how do we keep people going? And that's where the rewards come in. So we want people to know as much about their health as we can. So we give people free health checks at chemists, free fitness assessments at the gym, free vitality, science-based vitality age. So that's their lifestyle age, not their chronological age, and look at what they're doing in their life, how that's translating to their lifestyle age, which was really confronting for me, thinking I was really fit and healthy and I was 3 years older because I don't sleep well and I don't eat well. And that's not about eating junk food, that's just about regular eating. I could go a day without eating because I'm just running around, right? And that's not healthy. So it's giving people insights to that, and then helping them to get personalized journeys to making small steps to improve it, improving those barriers where, we, for example, giving people points for doing their mindfulness and their yoga, encouraging getting their sleep, they get their points, nutrition, but also then, giving people 50% off their Fitness First and Virgin membership, paying people that $100 a quarter for going to the gym. But then the rewards, are really, and access to our programs and our content, with our ambassadors is really important around those pillars of move well, eat well, think well, plan well, and now the environmental pillar as well. And the rewards, and so great, you get healthy and you do the right thing, and we want to reward you, and they can get up to 50% of their Virgin flights when they're flying, 40% of their Endota treatments. We want people to make it fun and rewarded for themselves as well, and their active benefits, $5. They get their digital vouchers every week. And we've had over 300 billion steps, 3 million gym visits, 1.2 million health assessments done, 50% for mental health. So this is fantastic, Chris, because previously as a life and health insurer, people weren't engaging with us, and they weren't. But now to know that 1.2 million Australians have done their health assessment to understand their vitality, their lifestyle age, but the 50% of those actually did their mental health assessment. And this is all information for them, right? And so by having that information, hopefully those million people are a little bit more informed around how what they're doing in their life is impacting those areas, and they can make some small steps. So, the rewards are great, and I can go on and on and on about it, but the fact is what we're doing is helping people to make small steps around their health and well-being. And it's all related, right? If you're not feeling well, you're not going to get up and go for a walk. And if you're not going for a walk, you might not be feeling so well. So they're all interplay as well.
There's so much in that. Firstly, I think the idea of incentivizing in really kind of attractive, interesting, but also simple ways for people to be healthier. I think it's a really great approach. And I guess a question that I have is around like within our society, and also a lot of the kind of lifestyle challenges that people have. There is a corporate incentive around things that often lead to poor lifestyle choices, be that sleep or food or alcohol or gambling or whatnot. How do you conceptualize a program like this in the context of these bigger forces in a society?
Yeah, I think the important thing is, when we did I spent a lot of time with the team really trying to understand what was going on out there. And what we found was, with the acceleration of technology and the internet and other things, what really was happening was that the true issue underneath it all was that whether it's, people talk about the Instagrammable life, Dr. Google, Dr. whatever, information is coming so quickly, right? And then you look at how corporate world has sort of, really celebrated high achievement, and success in sport, the biggest, the strongest, the best, coupled with the information overload that is coming to people, whether it's, TikTok, Instagram, Google, whatever, people are feeling just overwhelmed. Okay. And you can't assimilate, right? One day you think water's good for you, the next day someone's saying it's not good for you. What are you supposed to do? And this is happening from a very young age now. right? So what we really what we unpacked was that when people are feeling overwhelmed, you don't make good choices and you don't actually take action. It sort of paralyzes you more than empowers you and enables you. So what we wanted to do was really make sure that our programs are not telling you what you should do. Our programs, our content is authentic, and it's just real stories of real people sharing their tools, tips, ups and downs. And what we want to do is enable people to get access to it, but then talk about it in the sense that we dream big, but it's actually about doing the small things. Let's not try and get to running a marathon. Let's go for a walk around the block. Let's not try and meditate for an hour. Let's find 3 minutes for mindfulness. Let's not try and, go from sleeping from 3 hours to 8 hours. How about an extra hour? Whatever your current sleep is, let's reward you for taking an extra hour. Okay. So, Chris, we're trying to tailor programs not to say don't have any alcohol, don't do this, but by reducing, the intake from 2 sugary drinks a day, which could be alcohol has a lot of sugar in it, so does soft drinks and others, to 1, you actually, based on the data, we've looked at over 1.5 billion bits of health data over 10 years, you could potentially reduce the incidence of not feeling so well in a mental health issue by over 50% by just reducing the intake of one thing. So give people the information, let them make the decisions. It's not a right or wrong. And if you do take the decisions, we can reward you for that as well. So I don't want to be exclusive, Chris. I think we want to be an inclusive society.
Yeah. And when you bring it into your own workplace, say AIA, for example, like, do you, so you have like team members that are going on their journey, everyone has their own challenges and whatnot. How do you conceptualize that, particularly with, perhaps people that have got caught up in habits or loops of habits that aren't necessarily healthy? How, there's individual agency, but how do you support people as they're going through their journey, even though, they might be going through a bit of a down point?
Yeah, and of course that's absolutely. And then look, I mean, in the last 2 years, that's been even more challenging, right? With COVID in places like Victoria, and then obviously this year with New South Wales and the large lockdowns, and whether it's people feeling isolated because they're on their own, or whether it's trying to deal with the working from home plus homeschooling, and trying to find room to have a conversation or a meeting. It's different for everyone. It's been challenging. So what we try to do is ensure that we're walking the talk here. So how do we create, if everyone's on Vitality here, we offer that, make sure everyone has access to that. We then have things like Afternoon Free Friday so that people can transition in. We have a recharge day once a quarter. So it's just like, hey, you know what, life's busy. Just knowing that there's a recharge day once a quarter to go and get the bills done, do this, do whatever you want to do. It's knowing you've got that coming is sometimes enough. We have active wear work. We do walk and talk meetings when we can, and of course we do things together. So this month we've got lots of, we try to sort of set ourselves a community challenge to support one of our partners for this year. Obviously, I think we're up to about $60,000 as a team raised for Black Dog for the Great Walk, and we're also doing the ride for Pain Revolution and for others, and the team really gets behind it, and we do the Mother's Day Classic together, and so we try to create those opportunities, and then we also, one of the teams went down to another charity we support, St Kilda Mums, and getting out there and helping others, and so the whole team went out there for their day of team building to actually go and work with the St Kilda Mums team to get stuff ready for people who are in need and their kids, and so it's creating those opportunities, and then of course it's really about leadership, being open and embracing difference to make a difference. So you've got to really, if you talk about purpose, being a purpose-led organisation, we don't get it all right, Chris. I mean, this is not about that at all. No preaching here at all. It's like it's just sharing some of the things we do, and hopefully they are having impact. We have our live streams where we connect with everyone once a month to make sure that they can. We provided a health and wellbeing toolkit from our ambassadors for all Australians, but including our team as well. We get people to come along and have a chat to them and talk about how they can manage their physical, mental health, and financial wellbeing. So we have a range of things in place, but again, the overwhelming feedback has been that these tools have been really positive in terms of their connection to the purpose of the organisation and the feel of care that they've had. But again, I think we're at one, just sort of stepping back, is think about, I think we've got to relook at now into the future with these new hybrid ways of working, how we're going to do that even better. So yes, we've got the virtual meditation that people can link into, the other things we got, but we're not set up yet because we're just coming back, right? And we don't know. We tried to start that at the start of this year, then wave 2 came, so it's back to the drawing board again. But the tools have had a really good impact, and the team are very engaged.
Amazing. And we've just got 1 more minute, so it's been fascinating talking to you. And I guess I want to kind of finish on what you would see as a vision for the mental health system more broadly beyond AIA. What would you like to see for your family and friends, them having access to and support for their mental health?
Yeah, Chris, I think first and foremost, we want to really acknowledge the fantastic work that many have done to really, shine a light on this issue and try to help normalise it so that people feel safer to talk about it. I also want to acknowledge the significant amount of work that many organisations have done to put in place support systems, and then to acknowledge the treatment we have in Australia, which is, we have some world-class treatment facilities and doctors and medical professionals, and we should acknowledge that, and associations that have been really advocating, in particular in the area of mental health. I think what we want to see now, though, is, we've gone a long way in a short time, but now how do we create a system that people feel that they can easily engage with and understand and access? Okay, so at the moment, people find the system very difficult to engage with, complex and fragmented. So what I'd like to see is a more integrated system that starts with all the way, as I talked about, in helping people through the journey of predict. So helping to predict when something might be coming. Prevention is my main focus. How do we get more in the area of prevention and start to put the fence more at the top of the hill? And then, so once we've got prevention, then it's about really focusing on how we can help to diagnose quickly. So we know the quicker we can make a diagnosis, and diagnosis doesn't have to be a technical term, it's just recognize that I might not be feeling well, and so maybe I do need to get some help, and then once treat and recover and thrive. And I think that's the bit. We don't want to stop at the treatment. We want to also have the help, the recovery. So we've got a number of programs for our claimants where it is about restore for mental health. It is about having a mind coach to help them with their claims. It is about the recovery elements so that they can get back to thriving. So what I'd like to see is a system that's holistic, and I'd like to see a system that is working in harmony, because everyone's passionate about what they do, but how can we stitch that together so that actually the Australian that needs it can actually get through that, access that system and navigate the system and get the benefits of it by getting an end-to-end for mental health. And I just want mental health to be the same as, people getting up and thinking about how they're going to manage their physical health or their diet, that they're thinking about their mental health as it's just a normal thing that they're looking after as well.
Damien, it's been a real privilege to talk to you, and I'm really inspired by your vision, and very excited to work with you over the coming years on seeing it come through and supporting it to come into existence. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me. And I'm really excited, and genuinely the team are excited about partnering with you and the team around what we can do to make a difference, and just look forward to doing great things together. So take care. And
awesome, mate. Thanks so much.
Guys, have a great day. Bye.